All right, we're going to work on some blues and jazz tips. This morning we did our Thursday lesson at iMusicAcademy for our members. We have a Thursday lesson and a Monday lesson. I want to show you what we did today. So we have this folder where we have all these blues songs, and we take elements from each particular song and show you how to play the blues using these concepts. So the first one that I want to show you is from I See a Pattern Blues, just original tunes at iMusicAcademy. The first thing before we do that, I want to show you voicings to play in your left hand. So for a C9, I'm just using 3 flat 7 9 for a C9. Now F13, we're going to use flat 7 of an F scale, 3 and 13, and back to C9. Very easy. And we're coming up to the 5 chord, which is G, G13, flat 7, 3, 13, to F7, flat 7, 3, 13, and back to C9, and then it goes back to G again. One more time, and listen to this rhythm, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, 1, and 2. Notice the and of 2, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2. I see we have people coming in the chat now. If you would, let me know in the chat if you can hear everything okay, including the backing track and my piano and my voice. And F13, and back to C9, 2, 3, and back to G13. All right, let's do the first 5 notes of the blues scale. Notice that my fingers are hovering over each one of those notes, and they're all going to work. It doesn't matter the order I do, 2 and 3. If I play a rhythm that I like, I'll just repeat it. Dun, dun, dun. Kind of like that. Same thing. 2 and 3 and 4. And it's really important to play and then leave a little space. And 2 and 3 and 4 and... Isn't that nice how all the notes are going to work? Okay, let's say you've done that for a while. You know that those 5 notes are going to work. I call that shape 1 at iMusicAcademy. You can't go wrong. You have your hand in this position, you get used to this shape, and you know all the notes are going to work. So it doesn't matter what key you're in. If you're in the key of F, you get used to this shape, the first 5 notes of the F blues scale. Same thing with G, A flat, A, and there are different ways that you can learn how to get into these shapes. But knowing just that, you already can get ready to succeed and have fun playing the blues, knowing that you can use these 5 notes in any order. You can also go down 3 half steps from whatever key you're in and play the A blues scale in this case. So the C major scale has what's called a relative minor scale. You go down 3 half steps. The first 4 notes of the A blues scale sound fantastic over the blues in C. So whatever key I'm in, I know that the first 5 notes of that scale, in this case C, are going to work. I can also go down 3 half steps, and now I'm on A, and do the first 4 notes of the A blues scale. Listen to how that sounds. I'll just use those 4 notes with my voicings in the left hand. 2. And I can turn that around any way I want to. Okay, I can also go back and forth between those 2. few things that you already know are going to sound good. In our membership area, we've been doing, the month of April was minor third to major third. So all these licks and songs and everything always had this idea of the importance of knowing your minor third and major third. So if I'm just playing the blues scale and always doing the minor third on top, it's going to sound fine, but you really want to hear that major third as well. So when you hear me do stuff like this, so that's minor third, major third. Also, if you do this very simple, what we call blues roadmap from Blues Volume 1, minor third to major third. So you think of a C triad, and you hear the minor third and the major third gives a nice little release there of the tension instead of just always. So you could actually take this simple triplet of 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then 4 and the fingering 2, 3, 5 and use that as a way to sort of break up the just minor third only. Listen to that. Okay, so you have 3 ideas there now. So let's talk about some of these PDFs that we've been using. So I see a pattern blues. Now, what's nice about this is we were doing some licks this morning and showing you different ways to play the blues, right? Lots of different patterns and things. But this idea of the more I play, I see a pattern, we always come up with a lot of crazy song titles and lyrics and things, but this one actually makes a lot of sense of the more I play, I see a pattern. The blues scale is so important. So like if I want to play the blues scale all the way up, the fingering you're going to use is 1, 2, 3, 4 on the F sharp. I love 4 on the F sharp because it helps me transition between this scale and maybe the top half of the blues scale. So you have dee, da, 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 and there's my F sharp transitioning me to the next scale. And knowing that's really important, but this idea of starting the blues scale even on the and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and I like the sound of that. So instead of just going, I love going on the and 1, the more I play, I see a pattern. So this whole song is about 2 things really. It's the blues scale coming down and starting on the and, but also this sort of Oscar Peterson idea of F sharp, which is the tritone, up to the C, which is our root. So the whole song has that, and by even knowing this one song, you could play it over the entire blues and use our 3 chords. We're good. The more I play, I see a pattern, a pattern. I see the blues scale and I know that it is just what I need. Okay, so that whole song there is just simply the blues scale, and there is one part when I say the blues scale starting on C, and then I come up to E flat. Come learn this pattern with me. I see the blues scale and I know that it is just what I need. Just the idea of going up to that minor third of the blues scale is a nice way to transition back into the entire scale. So we played the blues scale going up, but also having that minor third on top, which actually leads us to another blues roadmap from Volume 1, is the idea of whatever scale, whatever key you're in, you're playing the blues, you put your middle finger on that note, and then your 4th finger is already set up, hovering over the flat third of whatever key you're in, and then your index fingers naturally hovering over the B flat, which is the flat 7, and my 5th. So all of those notes will work. Those 4 notes are the top half of the blues scale with the the flat third on top, which sounds great. So listen to how that one pattern will work over the entire blues. Or to transition. So we have the more I play, I see the better. Okay, so even knowing that, this idea of da-da-da-ba-da-ba-da-dum, I might want to practice just that one idea, which will actually work, believe it or not, over the entire blues. So let me show you that. And if somebody's watching this and you're hearing everything like you need to hear it, just say hello in the chat and I can at least know that we're live. With all the technical difficulties we were having. Just practicing that one lick. Let me stop that really quickly. So one thing that I just did was, hey Vicky, good to see you, is I went and played the C6 lick right out of Blues Volume 1. And one thing let me go ahead and pull up that particular chart, and I'm going to show you guys some really cool things. Actually, yeah, that is out of Blues Volume 1, but it also, there's a longer lick that we did this morning that's from Blues Volume 2. Let me just pull that up and show you guys how just that one idea can give you 3 different patterns. All right, so we did Gilbert's Gold. We did, here we go. So one of the things we do in our membership is we'll go through different blues courses, and I show you how to not only learn how to use the courses, right, where you can watch all the videos for everything, but we like to take certain things like Blues Example 1. Notice what happens right here. You have the C6 lick, which is, this is a longer line in Blues Volume 2. That's a great lick to get under your fingers. And it's just sliding that minor third to major third. Once again, the importance of being able to not only play that minor third, but you want to be able to slide off minor third to major third. So notice that what happens here, and I go 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Now, the second time I play it at the end of the measure, I do a triplet, 1 and 2 and then 3. So once you learn a lick, then you make it your own. You can change up the rhythm. You can play it all kinds of different ways. Just this first measure, I could do this: 1, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and, or I could go a triplet, or I can go up to the flat 7. Okay, so after you've practiced that, notice the next part does this. does a triplet, and I call that the Cruella de Vil lick. So minor third to major third, up to the fifth, the sixth note, which is always super important of our blues, and then the fifth and the flat seven. Okay, so now what we can do is turn on the track and practice either the C6 lick or the Cruella de Vil, which is just the second part of three licks within one example. And when you go to the F chord, you can also play the same lick, but on F now. And the reason is because as you go up to F, you're not playing the F scale, you're just outlining the chord changes. Minor third to major third, that sounds fantastic. And then on G, it's the same thing, minor third to major third. One thing that we talk about at iMusicAcademy is if you're playing the C blues, you use the C blues scale. So even though if you go to the chord of F, you're still use the C blues scale. It sounds really bad if you play the C blues and then you go to F and you play the F blues scale or G blues scale. It's going to sound bad. If you're in the key of C and you play the C blues scale, even over the F chord, it's going to sound great. And even when you play the G. So it's just a fun little thing to learn is whatever key you're in, for the most part, you'll be able to use that particular blues scale over all of the chords. Now, there are nice exceptions, like when we're outlining the chords. So when I just played the C6 lick and I did this, and I went minor third to major third, all that sounds great. When I go to F, I outline the chord change of F, minor third to major third, that sounds great, and then the minor third. So I'm still playing chords within the F scale, but it's outlining the chord changes of F. And then on G, same thing, minor third to major third. So whenever you're doing those minor third to major third kind of sounds, you can play those particular chord tones for whatever chord you're on. Let me demonstrate that and see if we can outline those. So now I'm just using the first two licks in this one example. Let me back it up. 1, 2. And again. F, I'll do the same thing. That time when I got done with that whole idea, my first instinct was to fill in the space with the blues scale, and I just came down. So I can even do the I see a pattern blues. The more I da. So I use things like the I see a pattern blues as a way to remind you is that you have fun playing all the licks and as simple as you want them, and then if you need to fill a little space or want to fill a little space, the blues scale is a nice way to do it. All right, let me turn on the track again. I will check the chat in a minute, but somebody say hello in the chat if you get a chance. 1, 2. F. Okay, so what I just did is instead of just doing this lick first and then the Cruella de Vil, is I went right to the Cruella de Vil, which is minor third to major third up to the flat 7. A great little thing. Okay, now let's take the third part of this very first lick in volume 2 is that you have this idea of my favorite triad, For those of you guys who hang out at iMusic Academy, my favorite triad is the second inversion triad, and I go minor third to major third, and notice that I'm holding the top here, the G, the fifth or whatever chord I'm on. And you practice this idea. Oscar Peterson does this kind of thing right here, and it comes from not only this kind of lick right here, but you have, which is one of our most familiar licks and most popular licks, the one in the video that got us over 1 million views, was using that kind of thing where you do minor third to major third, outlining the second inversion triad. All right, let me refresh this and just to make sure, see if we have some people that are liking the video and enjoying this. Only 2 people so far. That's kind of sad. I hope you're enjoying this. Let's go ahead and dig in. So let me turn on, let me do this one more time, get to here, and I'll show you this example in its entirety of how you're going to practice this. You can practice this by itself. Again, there's my visual of thinking second inversion triad, minor third to major third. So let me just practice that by itself first. Let me start this over. I'm just getting the motion down. And there I did 2 and 3. And when I go to F, and I go 4, minor third, major third. And the same thing on G. So minor third to major third, minor third to major third, and minor third to major third. Do it again, one more time. F. Same thing on G. F. All right, now I'll do the whole lick. 3 and 4. And right there, let me just stop this really quickly. So when you're trying to practice this at first, especially if you're more of a beginner, the idea of playing all 3 of these together is going to seem a little bit maybe intimidating, but the way you get it is repetition is your friend. I say that a lot, but take one little example at a time and really work that out, get comfortable with that, and then you work on the next part. And then the next part, and then you start to put it all together. Okay, let's turn on the track, and then I'll show you guys another lick. Let's keep going. So let me practice just that idea. Now I'm just practicing the C6. And I can do that over F. So a couple other things about that. When you're working on one specific lick, it's good to be able to play it in all keys, but it's also a journey for those of you who maybe haven't been playing as long. I always say that there are often 2 different fingerings you can use to play pretty much any lick, and a good example would be this particular lick right here, C6 lick. If I'm on a slide key, minor third to major third, I'm sliding minor third to major third, but if I'm on a hammer-on key, like I can't slide off from the minor third to the major third, so I hammer on with 2, 3, 4, 5, instead of sliding off. But But the great thing about that is once you learn that kind of thing, then you can transpose in all keys by using one of two fingerings. Watch this. C, D flat, hammer on. Get up into the keys. D is a hammer on. E flat is a hammer on. E, hammer on. F is a slide key. F sharp, get up into the keys, as a hammer on. G is a slide. A flat is a hammer on. A is a hammer on. B flat, slide, and B. So two fingerings gets you through all of the keys. In the case of the 5-note blues scale, same fingering for all of them. I can play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on all the keys, no problem. Okay, all right, let's keep going on. Let's move along. All right, if I'm hoping to have a few more people join in. Otherwise, we'll just sign off if there aren't enough people that are enjoying this. All right, so let's do this. I'm going to pull up one more track. I would like for somebody else to, Vicky, I love you, and I'm happy you're in here, but we need some more people to join in and let me know that they're having fun too. All right, let's do this. I need to pull up that chart. Okay. So we're going to pull up, I love Akshay's Blues. There are two more things I want to show you guys. So on Akshay's Blues, you guys know that I always, for our members, they know I always make a blues song for them. So this is Akshay's Shape of the Blues. And the idea behind this is it's all blues scale things. And in this case, we're doing 2, 3, 5. And what's really nice about this specific chart is, one, it does this thing over and over. But it also does the 5-note blues scale, and it does that all the way through. And what it is teaching you here is you have this shape of the C major scale, right, of the C chord, and you have 2, 3, 5 going on, but my hand is still kind of hovering over that shape in the same way that it does for the thing we just practiced, right? And then it goes up here to the top, the minor third, and then it does that da-da-da-da-da-dum. But your left hand has the voicings, 3 flat 7 9 for C9, and it has the F13 and it has the G13. But what's really important is to practice the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And you can play that over a jazz blues or a regular blues like we've been doing, a shuffle blues. It's going to sound great. All right, so let's go ahead, and I want to show you how this will sound, and then I'll show you guys one more thing, and then we'll wrap it up. All right, let me turn on this track. 1, 2. Here we go. Stop this really quickly. All right, the last thing we'll talk about for today is this. If you have the fifth up to the third of C, and you go down this interval of the sixth, and you go down chromatically. Let me show you on one of our other PDFs. This is You Don't Know Jack is what I'm about to pull up. Jack's song. So 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 1. So in this specific song, we have the minor third to major third, and then up from the third to the root. Now, why is this important? Because this is a great sound to be able to do. If I'm on the key of C and I do fifth of C up to E, if I come down chromatically 3 times, it'll get me to the third up to the root. So listen to how that sounds when I go. And I can even take it down once I get to that shape. And now I can go down a whole step, and now that gets me to the ninth and the flat 7. So I have this going on. And the reason this is important because it really helps you with your transposition. It's going to sound great over the C chord or the F chord. I go fifth up to the third of F, or G, or C. And the interval of a sixth is so important because it gives you that really pretty sound. Like, we love tenths, we love the way those sound. We also love thirds, we also love sixths. And when you hear these bluesy things, like from Blues Volume 1, example 10, it goes up to the third root, flat 7 and 9. Like, that is a really important sound of the blues. Listen to me play. So I'm either going to just do this thing that I just showed you guys, or I'm going to do and show you how you can play those over any particular key you're working on. And when you change chords, you can change you change chords with the sound. So over A, over G, F, over C. Now I'm going to do the other thing, is just using the interval of the 6. Here we go. Over F. Over G. F. Over C. All right, now the last thing we're going to do is we're going to do what we started with today, this morning with our group. And that's another important thing. When you do your middle finger on whatever key you're in, so in the key of C, that sets you up for those top notes of the blues scale. You can either go minor third or major third, which we did in this specific example. So even on the F chord, I go, or C, or G. But the way you get there is by using your middle finger on whatever chord you're on, and it sets you up really nicely for those scale tones, or chord tones, sorry. And when I'm on the key of F, G. Okay, so let's finish up. And one more thing to do. This is, the weekend is over, and it's Monday Blues. So we're not doing the bass line that goes with this, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and kind of a Ray Charles bass line, but we're actually just working on the right hand. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Hold on, I got about to sneeze. So the reason that's so nice is because it outlines the blues scale tones, right? It does C, B flat, G, and then it goes minor third, but it also gives us the major third, the fifth, the sixth, and the root. So it's a little bit of a longer line. And what's nice about that is, one, it has some nice tension outlining the blues scale, and it's also starting in the end. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Another nice thing about that is whenever you go, because I'm doing this minor third to major third, when I go to the F chord, I can do the same thing starting on the F. Root, flat 7 of F, fifth, minor third, to the 6th of F, and then on G. So that's a really nice thing to be able to do, is we create a little bit of a longer line. So let me turn on the track, and then we'll finish up by maybe doing a mix of all of those ideas. So here we go. 1, 2. I like the little bit longer line. I just went to A blues scale, now in C. You guys get it. So I basically was just taking all those ideas and mixing and matching those. All right. Well, thank you so much for hanging out. And if you did enjoy this, you're watching this on replay, make sure you like the video, consider leaving a comment, and keep practicing, keep having fun with music. If you have any questions about iMusicAcademy, please email me. Vicky, good to see you. Guys, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.